welcome. I'm Josh Geary at Keck School of Medicine of USC in Los Angeles, California. I'm here with probably my most important mentor today, who I've known since even before I was in medical school, Adam Starr. He's a professor of orthopedic surgery at UT Southwestern Medical School and Parkland Hospital in Dallas. Has had a long career there. Is also the Hans-Georg Wyss endowed chair, and really appreciate him doing this.
Oh, I'm happy to do it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could be in person, but Zoom provides some new things. So,
Yeah.
Adam, looking back, what made you decide to pursue a career in orthopedic surgery?
It's a great. So it was really just a stroke of luck. I was all set up to do. I wanted to be a general surgeon. I planned to be a surgical oncologist. I was interested in cancer surgeries and the genetics of that stuff, and so I was all set. And I figured, well, I'm going to be a general surgeon. I should probably I should know a little bit of orthopedics just for when I'm working in the ER. And so I did a ortho rotation late in the academic year at Parkland Hospital with Charlie Reinert on Charlie's trauma service. And I discovered on that service that it was possible to have fun all day, every day while you're working. And it never occurred to me before that you could have a job that was just enjoyable. I mean, it's hard work, but it was fun. And I realized, oh my God, this is what I've got to do. And so I fired off all these applications and missed the deadline for almost every one of them. I got 2 interviews. One of them was at Parkland, and the other one was down at Scott and White, where my dad works, which was just a sympathy interview. and I got lucky and I got in. It was just amazing. So that was it. I mean, I was all set. I was going to be doing breast cancer surgery or something like that somewhere. So that was it.
Yeah, I remember between my first and second year of medical school, whenever I did that research rotation over the summer, that was really a clinical rotation with a little bit of research. But I remember how fun it was being in an OR with you and Charlie. And I mean, that's why I knew I wanted to do those things. Seeing back when y'all were doing more big T's or 2 or 3 a week, I was like, this is just fantastic. What were the cases you saw that made it so fun, or how did Charlie create that environment?
I think it was the sense that you were kind of, you're kind of men on a mission. The idea was that you've got this, it didn't matter how hard the work was. And of course it is hard, but just that you've got this mission. You're doing something that's meaningful, and the surgery itself is fun. I mean, it's fun to work with your hands. And the beauty of the trauma was that you get, right away, if you've done a good job or not. I mean, you can see it right there in front of you. I did a great job reducing that fracture, or that was done. That looks really good. The X-ray looks really good. I've delivered something good for that patient, and that sort of sense of mission really was pervasive on Charlie's service. I mean, everybody, and it's fun to work with people like that, who are committed to what they do, who try to be the best that they can at their craft. So I suspect that that's probably why a lot of orthopedic surgeons choose orthopedic surgery, because you're doing something that's kind of hard at times, but it's really worthwhile and obviously delivers a lot of benefit to the patient, to the patients. So it's really great. And at Parkland, as the environment can be kind of tough, and the patient population can be kind of tough. And so that made it a little bit of you're working in a rough spot. And if you see somebody who's just kicking ass doing that kind of work, that's appealing. You want to join that kind of team. And that was what did it.
Did you ever think about anything other than trauma once you started your residency, or were you committed to that all the way through?
No, I wanted to do trauma all the way through, and I remember distinctly I was up on call as a second year one night, and we got a consult down in the trauma hall for another open tibia fracture. And I was griping about, golly, another open tibia. And my senior resident at the time, Robert Hancock, said, man, you better stop griping about open tibias if you're going to go into trauma, because that's going to be your bread and butter. You know, if you don't like it, you need to change your mind now. And he was exactly right. I mean, I guess when you're tired, you'll gripe about anything, but I never really did. I mean, I enjoy, the other surgeries are a lot of fun. I enjoyed every rotation we did as a resident, but trauma was by far the most enjoyable one.
How when did you start getting involved with AO? Was it as a resident, and how's that involvement been, and did it impact your career?
I got into it. I went to a basic course. I went late. I didn't get into it until later in the residency. And if I was doing it over again, I would have started as an intern. I mean, I think that the stuff that the AO courses teach and the sort of the stair step structure that they have is really valuable. So I got started late. And then the best thing that I did was get involved with the AO faculty. And that is just an awesome experience. I think that the AO faculty, there's just not that many organizations that you can point to in our field, or really in any field like that, where you have such a huge group, an international group of committed people who are dedicated to teaching. It's not about me, it's about the guy or gal who's going to follow me, right? And so that is a remarkable thing. And so I saw Chip Rout a couple weeks ago, and I think about all the times I've seen Chip, working at courses or teaching at courses, and Mike Baumgartner. I mean, guys that are just sort of the stalwarts of AO North America and have put in God knows how many hours teaching those courses. And think of the impact that has, on how many patients' lives they manage to touch and make better. It's really a remarkable thing. So the structure of AO North America is unbelievably beneficial for the world. I mean, the AO North America, and then all the other AO orgs, in the Pacific and Europe, and it's amazing. So I think that if I was going to tell any young ortho trauma guy who's just starting out in his career, one of the best things you can do for yourself is get involved with AO North America as quickly as possible, because it'll benefit you because of your interactions with other people, your colleagues and your contemporaries, but it really helps you to benefit other patients. It's a remarkable organization.
No, I agree. I feel like I've been lucky enough to be involved with AO through my career, and it's made me a better teacher, how you get to know other folks, faculty, and sometimes you end up teaching a resident who becomes a fellow and even potentially a partner. It's such a cool thing to see the impact it's had, and it's about the principles, and I think the things we practice every day. It's been something. The thing I was most surprised by is how much AO has invested in training the faculty as teachers, and I think that comes back to your residency program, to everywhere you are. It's been a really unbelievable experience, and I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. Do you have any patients that have been most memorable for you over the years?
Yeah, that's another thing I used to tease Charlie about, because Charlie would have these patients that were just he would just, it was almost like he adopted them. I mean, he would, he'd get to know the patient. He knew what they did for a living, where they work, what their address was, knew all about their family, would get Christmas cards from them. And these guys, and the ones that he gravitated toward were just the most, like the biggest alcoholic in the clinic, or the craziest, drug dealer or whatever. I mean, just these really rough patients. And I just said, Charlie, man, what are you doing? Why are you you got, why are you gravitating toward this guy? And then I catch myself doing the same dang thing. I mean, you get to, and I don't know why that is, but I think I really don't know why that is, but it really is a true thing. So yeah, the people that I remember are people who have jobs that are maybe just on the border of the legal system. What do you do for a living? Well, I steal cars. Oh, okay. So it's those are the people that you remember. The other thing that's funny is I'm terrible with names, but boy, I'm really great at remembering X-rays. So I'm in clinic right down the hall, and the residents will show me an X-ray, and I can't remember the name, but I remember that anterior column screw. I remember that. I remember that pelvis. So it's funny how your brain works.
Yeah, no, and often it's the ones that didn't go exactly like you wanted, or there
Yeah,
was some snafu that happened. Those are the ones that tend to stick out. Uh,
yeah,
that's the really fun part of orthopedic trauma, because even for some of the challenge patients or different backgrounds, I found when you take care of them and they know you're invested in their well-being, there are so many grateful people. Like every once in a while,
yeah.
you get a patient who doesn't act well, but it seems like so many are so grateful. And you get to know people from all spectrums of life. That's one of the really fun parts I found of the job that I had no idea about. Whenever you're kind of a resident just starting out, it's when you have those, that when you aren't on rotation, when the rotation never ends and you get to know people, that's when it's different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're not rotating onto the sports service anymore. This is you now. This is what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a big transition point for a lot of fellows as they start practice. I don't know if people realize it as much before then, but when they never check off your service, that's a
Right,
different
right.
thing.
Yeah, you're married to them now. You got them for life. They're yeah, but it happens. I don't know if everybody's like that, but that's what happened to me. And I distinctly remember teasing Charlie about it, saying, "Why are you hanging out? Why is this scuzzball know your phone number?" And it's the same for me now.
Yeah. Is there any accomplishment you're proudest of in your career academically?
Oh yeah, I think the it's an easy one. I mean, you look at the people that I've had a hand in training that have come through Parkland, and look at what they've done. So I mean, frankly, people like we Parkland, our ortho trauma program, there's some pretty high powered people who've come through here, and that is really, again, it gets back to what's your job, and if your job is, part of our job is taking care of the people that are right there in front of us, but you can make the world a better place by training good, high quality people and sending them out there in the world. That's really impactful stuff. So yeah, I'm the proudest of that. I mean, I've had a hand in teaching and training some really good people.
How many fellows have you trained now?
I don't know. We got to make a list. I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know. Charlie came back here in 92, I guess, 91, 92, and then I started in 97. And we've had a fellow every year since Bob Buchholz put me on faculty as an assistant instructor in 97 when I was doing my fellowship with Charlie and Alan. And then Bob hired me in 98. So every year since then, a couple years we would have two, and then one year we had three. But we've had some really great ones. So it's been fun. I need to make a list. I need to compile a list. It's been a bunch.
No, I remember the first time I met you, I think you were getting ready to take your oral boards. So I guess it was 99, because I was rotating in the collegiate fellows program they had for undergrad students at Parkland over the summer.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
time goes quick, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Don't blink. Don't blink. It'll pass you by.
For sure. What outside of work, what do you enjoy doing most?
Well, right now, I mean, hanging out with my family. My kids are all, your kids are little, my kids are all grown. So it's kind of, they turn into interesting young adults. They've got their own lives going on now, and so that's a lot of fun. I mean, my daughter just got engaged. That's exciting stuff. I've got one. My middle son, Sammy, is about to this year. He's graduating college. He wants to go to med school, and then I got my youngest kid, John, is about to start college. So that's probably that's probably my focus. Heidi and I are staring at each other. What the heck are we going to do? But yeah, that's probably the most important thing going on for me right now.
My oldest is 16 in January. That's how quick it goes.
Believe that. Is that right? That's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Well, that's the way it goes, man. It doesn't slow down any. I'll tell you. I mean, 5 years from now, it'll be even worse for you.
Yeah, no, it goes quick. It's a blink of an eye. You still doing airsoft guns quite a bit?
Every now and then, I'm a little. I feel like I'm a little old for it, but then I have buddies that are older than me that are still doing it. So I guess it's okay. Yeah, it gives me an excuse to. It's good because if I have a game coming up, it gives me an excuse or a push to go and exercise a little bit. I got to get out and, God forbid, do a little jogging or something. So it's probably good for me.
Yeah. Have you found as exercise, and I mean, there's all this talk about wellness right now, which I think is critically important. How have you managed that through your career? Has exercise always been a part of keeping you healthy and well and in the best, health mentally and physically and everything else?
Yeah, I exercise a little bit. I don't know. I think that my suspicion is that exercise is beneficial for people who 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 like it. I think that in our career, in our job, really, I think one of the things that keeps you healthy is working with young people. Every academic year, there's a new crop of residents and med students, and I think that really helps. They think all my jokes are funny, and they're just the same old stale jokes I've been telling for 20 years, and I think that working with young people is a good thing for you. I mean, I'm getting older, but I still feel like I don't feel that much older. I don't feel any different. And so I think that helps. I don't know that that's true, but I suspect that it is. So I think for job satisfaction and keeping your brain straight, I think working with residents really helps out a lot.
Yeah. What's the biggest change you've seen in orthopedic trauma over your career?
The number of people doing it, the number of orthopedic trauma surgeons. When I rotated, or when I interviewed for fellowship, I think there were 14 of us in the United States going into orthopedic trauma, and there's probably 10 times that many every year now. So that's the biggest change. There's a lot of orthopedic trauma guys now, and the number of trauma centers that have gone, that's been an explosion too, but just the number of people doing it.
Think it's been a good thing or a bad thing or a
I
mixed
think
bag?
I think it's a mixed bag. I think that the way we do it, the way it's set up, I think is probably not the best. I think the Brits have got the right idea. I think the NHS, the nationwide trauma system, is probably the smart way to do it. But I don't know that we'll ever get to that kind of system. Probably not.
Pretty complex, but I think there are definitely opportunities to make that better. But
Yeah.
if as we're getting near the end of time, if you could go back and give any advice to yourself back in 1997 when Buchholz put you on staff, what would you tell yourself back then?
Well, I think the things that I think that it's important to remember why you're doing what you're doing. I think that's crucial. My dad was an internal medicine doctor, and he told me when I was I was in med school, and he said, it's an honor to do what we do. It's an honor. I had no idea what he was talking about. I mean, that just went right over my head. And I think that if you can keep that in the back of your head, why we're doing what we're doing, and who you're working for, it'll help you. You're not doing this job for you, man. You're doing this job for your patient and your patient's family, and that's what you got to remember. It's not about you. And the patients, the patients will, even today, I think people are cynical about a lot of things, but medicine is still a fantastic job, and orthopedic surgery is the best job there is. I mean, show me a better job than this. I don't think there is one. So if you can keep that in mind, it'll really help you.
Yeah, I remember Dr. B used to always say, "Congratulations, you picked the best career in the world
Yeah,
as an orthopedic surgeon."
He was exactly right. He was exactly right.
Well, thank you so much. I think that's a great way to end. I miss Dr. B a whole lot, but it's been great seeing you and talking with you today.
Yep.
And hopefully I get to see you in person at OTA.
You bet, man. You bet.
All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.